Joining me now is Jason Rowe, a proponent for the Yes on Proposition H campaign. And Jason, Escondido voters struck down the housing development overwhelmingly, 61 to 39% for this golf course. So why isn't this the end of the issue?
Well, it isn't the end of the issue because we're in the courts right now with a takings claim against the city. What the city did here was take Mr. Schlesinger's property rights for a piece of property that he bought zoned for 600 residential homes and turned it into permanent open space, thus stripping the value of the land. So he's filed a suit against the city that if the court rules in his favor will restore his property rights and or force the city to compensate him for the highest, best use of the property.
So Michael Schlesinger, the developer, has a lawsuit now against the city. How much is that lawsuit for?
There's not a figure. The courts would determine what the value is. Typically in a takings case, the court will determine what the highest, best use of that property is. So in this case, what would that property be worth if 600 homes were built on it? That would be the value that they would typically assess, not the value of the property as it sits there today. So that'll be up to the courts.
Now, Schlesinger has actually said that if he wins this lawsuit, it could bankrupt the city of Escondido. Is that true?
Well, by our estimation, 600 homes built out on that property is worth about $100 million, which the city would then have to compensate him. The city's general fund is $75 million. So when Michael says that, it's not intended to be a threat. It's intended to be kind of a reality check of this is the situation that the city council has put the taxpayers of that city in. And one of the reasons that we ran this initiative was to provide an out so that the court ruling didn't have to occur. We put together what we think is to be a very fair compromise that would get the city out of a problem that they visited upon themselves.
Do you think that backfired in this campaign, that people were kind of, hey, you're suing the city and that's going to affect us? Do you think that's maybe one reason why?
I think it's part of the general narrative of the entire campaign. There are some people that were very passionate on the other side. I think we're a little fast and loose with the facts throughout the course of this, before there was a campaign even. And I think, they did everything they could to try to demonize and vilify Michael before he even proposed a development project.
Is there anything else besides the lawsuit that might happen on this? And if not, when will this lawsuit, do you think, be settled?
Well, I think the lawsuit should be settled in the next year. The problem that the city's done now is they've taken a citizen-led initiative and made it city law. The only way to undo that is by citizen-led initiative, which means we would have to run another ballot initiative. And I don't think, given the NIMBYism of Escondido and the anti-growth sentiment there, that even if the entire city council endorsed this, it would ever pass. That's the problem that we've got to contend with.
Well, we will definitely follow up on this story. Jason Rowe, thanks very much.
Thanks for having me.